Good afternoon, a good night of Shabbos. We're getting ready for another beautiful Shabbos. There's hype in town. Everyone's talking about the lottery that will be drawn tonight for $1.28 billion. $250 million plus a quarter. And everyone's buying tickets. I went into the grocery store a couple of days ago right here at Putterham Market, and the guy was telling me they can't stop coming. People just keep on coming, and people are asking, when are you closing? Am I going to win the lottery? And the question, of course, is if you win the lottery, are you going to be happy? Does money really buy happiness? But I thought about an interesting thing that we read in this week's Torah portion that might shed a little light on this discussion. You know, we read about, as I spoke earlier in the week, about the tribe of Ruvain, Gad, and half of Menashe. And as the Jews are ready to cross over the Jordan to go into Israel, the Jewish people want to stay, these 2.5 tribes want to stay on the Trans-Jordan on the east side and not go into the Holy Land of Israel. And originally when they come to Moshe, Moshe gets very upset at them. And Moshe says, are you kidding me? We're ready to go in to the land of Israel and you're bailing on us? What happened? Don't you remember what happened 40 years ago with the spies? And how they didn't want to go in, and later God punished us and we wandered in the desert for 40 years? And the two tribes of Gad and Reuben and half of Menashe tell Moses, hold on, Moshe. We're not them. We're not running away from the responsibility of going into the land of Israel. We will go in and we will fight. And we will help the Jews conquer the land, and only then will we come back and settle on the other side of the Jordan, east of the Trans-Jordan. Basically, they told Moshe like this. They said, "We will build We're going to build huts and barns for our cattle, and we're going to build Arim L'Tapeinu and cities for our kids. We're going to settle the kids and the cattle." Trans-Jordan, and then we're going to go over to Israel. We're going to fight with our brothers and sisters, and once they win the war, we'll come back. And when Moses realizes this, he says no problem, he's going to let them go. But there's one thing he changes. When the Jewish people told Moshe what they will do, they said, we'll build barns and places for our cattle and cities for our children. They put their cattle before their children. Now, the cattle represented their monetary possessions, their values, their assets, their wealth. So they said, first we'll build places for our cattle. We'll make sure that our wealth is secure, and then we'll build cities for our children. And when Moshe agrees to allow them to do this, he says, no. First you'll build Arim L'Tapchem. First you're going to build homes for your children. What's more valuable, your possessions, your monetary value, or is it your children? Is it your ideas? Is it the faith you have? Is it the nurturing of the next generation to continue to follow in the ways of Hashem? If we want the Jewish people to survive, if we want the future of Judaism to survive, Moses warns us, first we have to build cities for our children, and only afterwards can we worry about our cattle. That's the message of Judaism throughout the ages, and that's why for thousands of years, Judaism has not only survived, but continues to thrive. Because we always remember the words of Moshe Rabbeinu. Of course, we all want to succeed, we all want to prosper. But first comes our children, first comes our values, first comes our spirituality, first comes our holiness. That's why Jewish people have spent so much to educate their children, to give them a Jewish education. It could be easy to send them to public school, but how many of us have spent tens of thousands of dollars because we recognize that the first thing you do is you build cities for your children. And the same is true with everything else when it comes to Shabbos. And you say, well, I can make an extra buck or I can rest for Shabbos. Listen, it's nice to win the lottery, especially when it's $1 billion plus, but that's not what's going to bring you happiness, family, godliness, Judaism, spirituality. That's the gift. And that's the gift of Shabbos. And here we are getting ready for Shabbos again. When we pause our accumulating of wealth and success, and we look at what's really true. We celebrate with our community, with our family, the way we should, knowing what Moses told the Jews thousands of years ago. First you build homes for your children, and then you worry about your cattle, your monetary possessions. Shabbat Shalom.